Good morning. Good morning. My name is Rini Ledger-Woodstram, and welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. We created this club to provide a safe space for women to share and inspire each other. So this morning, our guest speaker is LaSchelle Low, and she'll be presenting the foundation of your dreams. She's a dream builder coach. So am I, and I think you too, Judy. We all are dream builder coaches here. So it will be a fun presentation. So with that, LaSchelle, tell us a little bit about your background and then go ahead and present. And she said it'll be an interactive presentation, so she'll be including a Q&A in the middle of her presentation. So take it, LaSchelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, if you guys want to get some pen and paper, because we're going to be doing some thought processing. And we're having technical issues on my end. I just found out I can't present anything with sound also. So we're just winging it. This is called winging it. So my background is I'm actually an inactive CPA, but I don't usually tell people that. And I didn't really love what I did. I was good at it, so it was my zone of excellence, but it wasn't my zone of genius. And I also used to fundraise for women's cancers. I did that for almost 20 years in Los Angeles and New York, and also raised money for children's cancers as well. And I did that because I thought that was going to fulfill me. What I realized is I actually love helping people. And so back in 2019, I decided to become a transformational life coach and got certified, as Rini said, with the Brave Thinking Institute. So I'm a life mastery consultant and dream builder coach. I also have some other certifications. I am a healer, and I help people do energetic work, and it's really powerful. This weekend, um, I had asked someone for a favor, and in the middle of the favor, I got an intuition that I needed to offer them some help. And it ended up helping me. So sometimes just listening to spirit, listening to source is exactly what you need to do. And you never know. I ended up making this little essential oil that's my own blend because of this special session that was gifted to me because I gifted someone else something. Anyway, so I have all sorts of little things. I am a lifelong learner and I love people. And so today I just wanted to do some things because I've been noticing a lot of people have been feeling a little unsettled. And yesterday, actually, I learned something from this woman. We were talking in this group, and she talked to me about our breath. And I know most people don't have any clue. Our breath is one of our best friends, and we can use it anywhere. It's FREE. There aren't very many prices that are better than that, unless somebody gifts it to you. And you don't even have to do it. And guess what? You always have it with you. So sometimes it's training yourself to actually stop, think, and use it. So before we start, I'm going to ask you to we're going to just stop and we're going to take a few breaths. So I think we're going to do box breathing. So it's one of my favorite ones to do. And something I learned about 6 months ago that the perfect breath is about 5.5 seconds long, and that is from the Heart Math Institute. And so they do a thing called coherence, where when you're in coherence, it helps you regulate your body. It takes you out of the sympathetic and takes you into the parasympathetic system. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a little box breathing. So I'm going to have you breathe in through your nose. I'm going to have you hold it for 5 seconds. Then I'm going to have you breathe out for 5 seconds. Then I'm going to have you hold it for 5 seconds. We're going to do 3 rounds of that. I will count it out for you so you can see. But this is something that if you get into some kind of situation where you're feeling really unsettled, this is a great way to get yourself calmed down. And the beautiful thing is, if it doesn't work after 3 rounds, you just keep doing it. So here we go. So I'm going to have you breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I want you to take a big deep breath, as big as you can take, and blow it out really fast through your mouth with where you're holding it as if you're with a straw. Did you feel some stuff releasing? And then we're going to shake our bodies out because we're going to get rid of all the icky energy. And how are you guys feeling? So if things were working technically right now, I would put on some beautiful, beautiful music. And I'm going to first start off with, so my topic that I chose was Foundations for Living Your Dream. Key pillars for turning your dreams into reality. And I think sometimes we all have our dreams up here in our heads. Sometimes we don't have the foundational stuff. And it's if you're not having the foundational stuff, and this is speaking from experience, if I'm not doing my foundational stuff, I'm not really moving usually forward very easily. So I just wanted to teach some foundational things. I found this great quote from Les Brown, who many of you who've studied with Mary know and love him too. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. And so I want to help us get out of living our fears and moving forward to our dreams. And I was having a conversation with someone who was a dear friend yesterday, and she's doing some brain work certification right now. And her coach shared with her that fears are actually living in the future. How many of us like to live in the future? I don't. And I have a friend who I almost said who it was, but I have a friend who lives in the past, always in the past. And so I usually ask him, "Well, do you drive your car looking in the rearview mirror? Because if you're looking in the past, you're driving in the rearview mirror. And so a lot of the things that we're doing is we're either looking in the past or looking in the future. We need to be present right here. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to take out your paper and I want you to write down um, just write down things that you are dreaming of, things that you would like to accomplish, but what's your big dream? And we're looking at 2024 right here. We just finished, today's the last day of the month, and today's got a special day, and now I forget what it was called, but it is the 29th of February, not March 1st, in case you were.
Leap
Um,
day.
it's what? It's actually something else. It's not called Leap Day. That's not. It's the very and I was like, it sounded sexual, honestly. It popped up as the word of the day, and I was like, what the heck? Listen to it there. It said, oh, it goes back to like it's by something, and I was like, why are they promoting that on word of the day? And I can't remember what it was. Anyways, so I want you to actually connect to your dream and just start writing. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and then we're going to have a little conversation about your dream. Um, Can you guys hear any music? Is
Yes.
it too loud?
No.
And that's 2 minutes there. Sorry, I didn't think about the music till later. So I'm going to have you guys quickly, so that means in, I would say 30 seconds or less, share something from your dream that you connected to that you maybe not, that you would like to share with us. Either something that you were surprised that came up, something new, or something that you really want to focus on. And let's start with Rinny.
Yeah, I've already have everything I wanted in my life, except I'm always been afraid of sales and marketing. I don't know. It's my paradigm. That in my head, that's my fear. It's like I can't like I that's what I've been telling myself. So that's really the area that that's why I'm connecting with the different women network here in San Diego, because I wanted to start connecting with women, because my purpose is really to help women to gain financial freedom. I know that's kind of fake, but basically to help them financially. So it's like, to just start kind of, and I'm also taking like some sales breakthrough classes. So I'm learning the skill and I'm connecting with people. And, it's like, that I'm part of 7K. And that we have this contest right now about making the 15 connection every 5 weeks, and 45, what is it, 45 connection by the conference in April. So I'm working on that, and it is a challenge for me because I just like when people say no, I was like, okay, move on. Like I just it's a source point for me. So I that's what I would love to be able to do. That's
Thank
probably more than
you.
30 seconds, LaSchelle.
That's okay. I just, I said 30 seconds so people aren't going on for 2 hours. So, Olmeca, I'm going to let you go next because you're next on my screen.
Yeah, um, it's always like to generate $50,000 a month. And I was like, well, what is that? What will you do? Or what is that? So it's for one to raise my belief that I can even do that. And, not just being a monk on the mountaintop, being able to just draw things to me, be a magnet, but like believing that my services and my gifts are helping enough people for that money to constantly flow every month, $50,000, and and more, because 50,000, what is, where'd that come from? But that's beyond my real belief, or it's my belief, but like more would be just fine, you know.
This or
So
something more.
that or something more, yeah. And then the other thing is just be healthy all the time, because I'm constantly physically self-sabotaging myself is what it seems like. So.
Well, and I know because you're taking care of your mama, it's even more important that you're taking care of your health, but also you're taking care of your mama because she probably wasn't doing everything. So I know for me, as I see my mama, it reinforces like I really need to do that.
Absolutely. And yeah, somebody being nonverbal and not being able to tell me, I mean, I can see, I've learned enough. I can see,
Hmm.
okay, your colon is clogged up. Okay, you didn't go to the bathroom today. So yeah, it's definitely making all that more aware for me. But there are things we can use. I thank the
Yep.
creator for plants and the different things and the people that have put different combinations of things together. So thanks.
Yeah. Hey, Barbara, I'm glad you joined us. We are just sharing from our a little bit of our dream. We had written down and journaled for what our dream was. So if you want to do that while we're asking other people, that would be great. So Judy, I'll come to you next. You're next on my screen.
Yeah, in fact, this is perfect for this morning for me. Yesterday I was listening to, I don't know if you're familiar with Mind Valley, Vishen Lakiani. Jeffrey Allen, he's recently been working with Jeffrey Allen, and Jeffrey Allen's been very intriguing to me right now. I haven't been able to figure out how to I don't even know if I have an energy God because I don't feel like, I don't know, maybe my communication line is just blocked. I don't know, but I don't hear anything. I don't feel anything. And I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere with that. But anyway, yesterday he was listening to Jeffrey Allen. He was explaining to go down these three paths of, you go to a fork in a road and you're trying to decide where you're going. And so I was just thinking about my dream this morning, and so you were probably channeling to me, and maybe I do have a voice and I just don't know what it sounds like. But anyway, you probably were there with me. And so I wrote down these three things. I want to help children and families in need, of like such as locally. I donate just small donations right now to like harvesters. They feed children and families in need, and No Child Left Hungry. And I follow Environmental Working Group, EWG, strongly, because I truly believe that most all of our illnesses and health issues is derived from poor lack of nutritious food, and our water supply, with the chemicals that they add to it to keep us safe from things that are going to hurt us. Well, those same things also kill the good bacteria. So our water is actually not nutritious at all until we add berries and cucumbers and things to the water. We need to, plain water is not nutritious for us or hydrating actually. So anyway, I wrote down help children and families in need through harvesters and No Child Left Behind and EWG. And I also wrote down help previously incarcerated people with housing. Like California has this program called ARC, ARC, and they provide rides for people that are let out of jail, and they help facilitate getting them back into community, into society. And so I want to help previously incarcerated people with housing and get life back. And I also want to work with EWG for safe, nutritious food and water supply on Earth. That's my dream.
Awesome. I love that so much. And Christine, I'm going to see if I know that you said you just got in. I know you're off camera. I'm not sure if you want to share or not, but I want to give you the opportunity. Awesome. Oh, I saw her unmute. That's okay.
Yeah,
Kathleen, oh,
I'm
okay, cool.
unmuted.
You are
I'm
unmute now.
unmuted.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Hi. Um, I think I missed my I might be having technical challenges too, and I think I missed part of the assignment. But
It's
mine's really simple because as far as like what's my dream, is that what you wanted us to
yeah.
yeah.
hmm
I mean, I'm going to keep it really simple and say to live in the present rather than in the past. And because that is, I think, that's the source of what stops me from moving forward is regrets and how I could have done things differently in the past. And if I could find a way, a system that I can stick to. I try lots of different things, and yet I don't stick to them, and that doesn't work either. So I would like to wake up, in the morning a little like I did today. Like I realized what time it was, and it was like I jumped right out of bed and didn't think about anything else than connecting and seeing what Rini had in store for me today. And I'd like to feel that all the time.
And I'm so glad you joined us because I know you're having jet lag. So, and I love the living in the present rather than the past. That is like such a huge dream. Yay, Christine, for the awareness.
Thank you.
And I am gonna share something in one of the pillars about that. So pay attention when we get to habits, okay?
Thank you.
Kathleen, would you like to share? And I'm gonna come to Suzanne after Kathleen, just so she knows if she wants to.
Kathleen, do you want to unmute? Are
If
you there,
not,
Kathleen? We can come back to
yeah,
Kathleen
we'll come back to Kathleen. Suzanne,
and go to Suzanne.
are you there?
Suzanne,
She might also be muted.
maybe they can't unmute.
That's okay. Well, we'll come to Barbara because she's here, and hopefully she has something amazing.
So it's great to be here. I know Rini now from our correspondence and a meeting or two, and my good old pal LaSchelle, who looks beautiful in blue today. And I'm sorry I'm late. I've been to 2 meetings already this morning, and I'm running on overdrive, but I'm happy to be here. And so very interesting about living your dream. So I'm an older woman, and I'm also a believer in small wins. And as a result of me appreciating small wins, I also believe that there is an adventure around every corner. Now, these aren't big dramatic adventures. I'm not going out to climb Mount Everest. It may be running into a person I hadn't seen for a long time in town, or striking up a conversation with a stranger that becomes very enriching and maybe even productive mutually for our businesses. So yes, living in the present, but appreciating all these moments because they're enjoyable. I'm grateful for them. I look upon them as small wins, and cumulatively, those small wins and the gratitude I have for them leads to really a smile on my face much of the time, even in my grouchiest moments. I just find, particularly at this time of my life, it's a wonderful way to live. It enables me to role model and give back and just enjoy as much as I can of life and people around me, my family, my friends, and the ever widening circle of acquaintances who oftentimes become friends, like Miss LaSchelle over there.
That's awesome, Barbara. LaSchelle, I know you were going to say something, but many times we're struggling with fear, trying to accomplish whatever we have in our mind or our goals or whatever. And we forget to celebrate, and we forget to enjoy today, to just kind of, instead of stressing, every day feeling stress, and just enjoy while you're going through the journey. And that's so beautiful. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. I am so grateful for people like Barbara and people in here who teach me constantly. Barbara is one of the best storytellers, and I've been missing her stories every Friday. I'm coming back in about 3 weeks, so I can't wait.
I figured
Suzanne,
LaSchelle was working too hard. They
I
were
am.
chaining her to a desk at her job.
They are. That too. So Suzanne, we'd love to hear your thoughts. We
You're
can't
muted.
hear you.
We can't hear you, Suzanne.
She's not muted. It's
She's
like
she's
her
driving.
volume's off. You know what? I wonder if she's got her headphones somewhere else with her speaker. I've done that before.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, yeah. No, I have a new phone. I have a new car, so I'm getting used to how everything works on the car, but I went to the speaker on my phone anyway. And my dream is constantly, as everybody knows, that I really want to get Aspies back into society feeling confident. My fears come that I'm working so hard, but there's so much more work that still needs to be done to get women, one, to feel confident.
We're
They
losing
need
you,
to change the
Suzanne.
ways of
Okay.
their thinking. Are you hearing me?
In
You're
and out.
cutting in and out.
Okay, yeah, no, it might not be. I'm on my phone. Let me get into the house. I'll connect after.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, sounds good. We'll come back to you again, Suzanne.
And
Did we hear
uh,
from Kathleen?
we didn't.
Kathleen, are you there? Oh, here's
Yes,
Suzanne.
I'm here.
Okay,
Hey,
what's your dream, or what are your
My
thoughts on?
my my dream is to realize what my purpose here on earth is. And I know that it's to help as many people as possible. So that's my dream, whether it's people or animals. I just need to find out how.
Do you know something more specific than just helping people? What area?
Well, like I said, I've always been called to draw, I've always been called to help animals specifically. So I do plan on having a rescue farm. So I'll rescue all kinds of animals, livestock, dogs, cats. So that's 100% a dream that will become a reality after I'm done with my traveling. And I also, somebody else spoke to this. I've had an interest for many years in helping the incarcerated. So I would love to, and I will at some point, teach mindfulness practice, yoga, breath work, and such to women in prison.
Oh, that's awesome, Kathleen. Thank you so much.
love that.
First-
Listen to all those amazing dreams. And it's interesting. I actually know a guy who is incarcerated who is teaching mindfulness and conscious leadership from the inside out to people in prison and also helping support the families that have the inmates. It's like this guy is incredible. And I'd known him for probably a year before I ever even found out that he was doing this from his jail cell. He's getting his PhD right now. And he basically said, I made a mistake probably in his early 20s. And he's like, I'm living that mistake every single day. And so I'm trying to make my life the best it can be. And since bringing these principles into the prison system where he is, he said that they are having a lot better, less fighting, less contention, more. And so it's really interesting to see how somebody can make a difference even though they made some like poor choices and are taking like serving their sentence. So anyways, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to really quickly run through a few.
Suzanne didn't get a chance
Oh,
to finish. Suzanne, did you get a
Suzanne,
chance?
are you back in the house? When she's back in the house, we'll get her to come on.
Okay.
So, so like I said before, we all have our dreams, but do we have our foundation? And we wouldn't go out and build a house and just build like a bathroom, right? Or we wouldn't just start throwing up pieces of stone or brick or wood without a plan. And if we don't have a strong foundation, we are gonna things get really, really unsettling. And it was interesting. So I looked up the definition of foundation, and it said that upon which anything is founded, that on which anything stands, by which it is supported, the lowest and supporting layer of the substructure under the building. And so if you don't have a firm foundation, you're not going to be able to, it's going to be really hard to do that. And so some of the things I just wanted to share today really briefly is a few things I thought of over the last few weeks as I've been thinking about this that have helped me. The first one is a belief. And we need to have a belief in our dream. We need to have a belief in ourselves. And it's easy to say. We also need to surround ourselves with people who are supportive. How many times have you had I will get you, I'll just finish this and then I'll come back to Suzanne. How many times have you had a dream or had some kind of project that you were so excited about, or even something that you're selling and you're telling people about it and everyone keeps like squashing you, right, Rainey? And you know that it's something that's really important and yet they don't believe. And so sometimes they make fun of you, especially if they're your brother or your sister. And so like, I think it was Kathleen when you were saying, I don't know how, but you do know how. You know some of the things, you've done some of the things. And sometimes I think we know the how, we're just either, like for me, it's either I'm not taking the steps or I'm not believing enough in myself. And I think it was Jennifer or Judy, sorry, Judy, that said, I don't know if I have an energy. I don't know if I hear things, but you'll have little things that happen. And sometimes it's not an audible thing. Maybe something will catch your attention, like an advertisement or watching a Mind Valley thing to remind you that you actually do have spirit. You do have that resource. It's like a muscle you get to practice. But we need to surround ourselves with our own belief. And that's why it's so important to every single day get in and connect to your dream, because the more we keep the dream out here and we don't have it inside us, it's really hard to make it grow. It's interesting. I mentioned that I do energy work, and when I was doing energy work on myself, I found out that I was disconnected. My spirit and my body were disconnected in 3 places. One of them was in the heart. One of them was in my digestive system. That's pretty hard to be working when your body and your spirit aren't connected. And I think there's probably a lot more of that that's going on with what's happening in the world right now. So go ahead, Suzanne, if you want to share your dream, and then we'll move forward.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was in my car. My dream is to really make a huge difference in the neurodivergent world. Everybody knows that already. I have the capability to get up and speak and talk to people. My biggest fear comes in when it comes time to really not coaxing, I'm talking about attracting the people to want to sign up with me, because I'm so compassionate to the money issues of them being on family support, as I am most of the time, and government support. So I want to attract them and tell them that this is the way out and this is the way to freedom. But I also know at the same time that I understand their story too well, is what I guess I'm trying to say, is, and separating knowing their story from saying, but you should do it anyway, is my biggest fear. Is like, I've had so many changes just by finding the money, but the fear of getting them to do the same thing is hard.
I hear you. And I know I've watched you get money. And did you learn and grow during that time?
Oh, definitely. I mean, just learning how to rearrange my priorities, my money priorities, was a huge step in the right direction. And when you do that and you say to yourself, I can do this because it's important, is the biggest thing you can do for yourself.
Yep.
That's a big responsibility, though. I didn't mean to jump in, but you're wanting, I mean, you can model that it's been successful for you, but convincing or persuading others to do it too is a big responsibility, because you're asking people to take a big risk.
Yeah, in my case, I had divorce money, so there was a perfect investment money source but not everybody has that option. So, and when they're neurodivergent or aspie like I am, I know that a lot of them are on SSI. So how do you say to someone, yeah, take a portion of your money for your bills in your life and put it toward coaching so you can get out of that step is always a big fear of mine. And yes.
It's a challenge.
And we get to step in. So the second pillar that I came up with, thank you so much, Suzanne. I appreciate that, and I love your heart. The second pillar was core values, and I know last week the ladies talked about that, and so many people don't have their core values interwoven into their dream, and so sometimes maybe it's interesting because I found this quote from Tiger Woods, and he said, "I stopped living according to my core values. I knew what was doing was wrong, but I thought of only myself and thought I could get away with whatever I wanted to." And I think sometimes people, when they're not living their core values or doing the things that they need to do to move their dream forward, it is kind of like I knew what I was supposed to be doing, but I just didn't do it. And so if you're not taking the steps, you're not going to get the results. So it's like a self-sabotage thing. And so just, I know last week the ladies in the chat, they had the core values. And if you actually got the deck, it actually had their 50 core values. Brene Brown has a list of core values, which I've gone through many times. I have a list of over 500. If you're interested, you can reach out to me and I will happy. But I think it's actually a really great exercise, and I do it about every 2 years, is to look at your core values. And some of them have changed. One of my biggest core values is kindness. I can't stand people who aren't kind. There is absolutely no excuse to me for anyone who is not kind. Sorry. And there's a lot of really unkind people in this world, unfortunately. But it's such an easy thing. Just like the breath when we were doing the box breathing, kindness is something that's free and it doesn't take a whole lot of work. So so it's really important to know that your core values align with your dream, and then live from your values by taking action that support your values. And I know sometimes like when there's a misalignment that you kind of get, if you do kind of sort of action, you kind of get sort of results. So that's, you're getting exactly what you're asking for. The third principle the third pillar I was going to talk about is about habits. And before we go into habits, I want to talk a little bit about Pareto's principle. And that is that 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. About 80% of our habits or our auto programming that we have done is giving us, or 20% of our inputs are giving to 80% of our results. So a lot of us are on these automatic programs that are running constantly. Like when you wake up in the morning, you just know how to get up. You don't have to say, okay, lift my leg off the bed, do this, or putting our pants on. We don't have to sit there and think about it because we've done it so many times. The other day I was driving home, I'm a little embarrassed to tell you this, but I was driving home and I realized later because I was doing something else, I was on the phone and I don't remember driving home. And I was in the car for half an hour. I literally do not remember almost anything about that drive home. And so I was completely unpresent. I was present with what I was doing, which was actually serving me in a different way. But sometimes we're going through life like me, not paying attention or not doing what we should be doing. So the habits are super, super important. And so I just wanted to run through a few habits that I thought about. I don't know how many of you guys know who Hal Elrod is, but he changed my life. He wrote this book called Miracle Morning. There's different versions of it. And he has 6 things that you do every morning. And he's like modified if you want to. The first one is silence. The second one's affirmations. A third one is vision, like look at your vision. Fourth one is exercise, which is the one I have the hardest time with. But after seeing my 90-year-old mom a couple of weeks ago, I need to get on that one. That's something big. The fifth one is reading. So read something like 10 pages. The successful people read about 10 pages a day of a book, about 30 minutes to help them, of like a positive book that's actually teaching them something. And then the last one is scribing or journaling. And that's where I do my gratitudes and all of that stuff. In the silence, I do my prayers, meditation, all of that stuff. You can do it in 6 minutes. You can do it in 2 hours. You get to pick. And I have different versions of it. Our mind, so many of us are so, like what we put in is what we put out, both with our mind, our body, our finances, so many different things. And so I wrote down like our mind, our body, our health, our spirit, they all matter. And so many times when we don't have the foundation of those, we're not going to be getting our results of our life and our dreams like we would love. So are we eating whole foods that are good and nutritious, that don't have like things that you can't pronounce or that probably are carcinogenic? And I think it was Judy that was talking about the water. Totally agree. Like, I'm a water snob. I only drink water. Body movement for me, it's really important. Spirit, are you doing something to feed your spirit? Are you either praying, meditating, whatever kind of practice that you want? Even if it's just breathing, that's kind of like allowing yourself to slow down. And a lot of times, somebody was talking on a podcast the other day, they were talking about the most elite soldiers that we have. They have to slow down. They are like trained precision. Um, I think all I can think of is killing machines, but that too. But they also can do things, but they're also incredibly patient. And I think of crocodiles. In Africa, crocodiles can sit under like a tiny amount of water and be there patiently for days and days and days until the perfect prey comes and snap, they got him. But they're sitting there, you can't even see it, like in almost no water. And so the same thing with us. Are we patient? Are we pausing? Are we taking that time out with the crazy stuff going on in the world? We have to, because if we're like, for me, I realized when I lived in Los Angeles, I was driving an hour and a half to 4 hours one way a day. I realized how important that time was, and I actually missed it after, even though it was like crazy and I gained a whole bunch of weight. I missed it because I could turn off my radio. I would sit there and drive in silence. And I heard so many messages because we have so much stuff bombarding us all the time. So one of the other things I wanted to point out really quick is reactivity versus creativity. And I've been learning a lot about that. I'm doing this unified mindfulness and also awakening conscious leadership. And so many times we become reactive. And one of the things that we can do when we're about to react or about to explode or about to have like a not so not so good response, get creative. One of the things I learned just a few months ago, this guy had written this thing. He said, "Well, if you have anger, he's like, go dance, go sing a song, go write a story, go journal, go do something else that's creative, and it will shift that energy." And how many times have we actually had that kind of like those who studied with Mary, push the pause button instead of having that reaction? Because we can't take back the words, we can't do anything. But it's the same thing with our dreams. Like every time we react, every time we say something about those fears and everything, like get creative. Like, well, what could I do? What can I do? And it's a little bit at a time. It's like one new habit. If you try and change everything in one day, it's overwhelming and you'll stop. And when you look at the habits that people, January 1st, people are all like, oh yeah, my New Year's resolutions. By January 21st, most people have, I can't remember, but I think it's like 85% of people have stopped doing what their New Year's resolutions are. Do you have a New Year's resolutions that you aren't using or doing? You don't have to respond, but so I love this quote from Hal Elrod. Let today be the day you give up who you've been for who you can become. And that's one of my other things I wanted to share too. How many of us are so caught up in the doing rather than the being? And that's why I loved Barbara's reflection and her wisdom. She's looking for the little things. She's being, not doing. And I think sometimes if we write our to-be list rather than our to-do list, we would be so much closer and our dream would be coming to us so much easier. And so, and I'm just guilty of the rest, so don't worry about it. The next one is curiosity, and this one is a big one for me because asking questions, like ask questions and ask good quality questions. The best quality questions are the what ones and the who ones. Like, who can I be today? What can I do today? Even if it's like one thing, like Rennie was talking about, I'm supposed to have 4 phone calls made by the end of by Saturday night. And that's my own personal thing. How many have I done? 0. I've been a little bit busy. Today, I'm going to get it done. And I don't want to just do 4. We're supposed to have 3. I actually want to do 1 more because I want to be a little bit more. I want to like put myself out there and be a little uncomfortable. And one of the other things in the curiosity was experiment. Like, do a 30-day experiment, do a week experiment, try it out. I've done this with health things. One of my coaches one day, she's like, yeah, go eat all one kind of protein in one day. I learned that there's some foods I don't like. I didn't like them as a kid. I don't like them as an adult. And guess what? When I actually sat there and paid attention and did an experiment, I found out they gave me really bad gas and it really made my stomach hurt. And I don't ever have to eat cauliflower again. And I'm okay with it because my body told me because I listened. So another under curiosity, seek experts. Like pay people to help you get to where you want to be. Read good books like we were talking about in the Miracle Morning. I love this. One of my coaches, she's like, do some me search. We do research. Are we doing me search? Me search gives us the opportunity to actually research on ourselves and try things that are different. Go do something different. Like I made this deal with God back in 2019 that if there was something I was supposed to do, make it kind of have a little sparkle. And I have had so many fun experiences and some really scary ones that I didn't really love. But do some research. I would love for you guys to do that. The next thing I'm going to teach you really quickly is it's a 4-letter word. It's called pods. And think of it like a pea pod or a cotton pod. Around the outside of a pea pod or a cotton pod, or a pea seed or a cotton seed, is this pod, and it's protection. And so POD stands for pause, observe, decide, and start. And so when I'm teaching my people, we all have this seed of our dream, right? And so our seeds are really, really tiny, and they're really important, and we want them to grow. And so they have to have this protection. And so we have this pod around it. And so if you're having something that you want to do with your dream, you've got your dream inside this pod. And so pause, observe, decide, and then start. And you don't have to start big, start little. So that's something that I did. I know we're almost done. Community, and that's why we're here today. Find communities that you resonate with. I've been in some communities that I've spent a whole lot of money in, and I did not feel like I fit in. I was like, I don't burp and fart like the rest of you guys are. I'm not, that just is not my jam. And I paid a lot of money to be with those people, and I learned some stuff from them, but I wasn't comfortable. And so find communities that you feel you're comfortable with. And I love Rini for creating this safe space to allow people to come and to learn and share their gifts and their talents. And that's another thing, give and receive. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to hear your dreams, was because by us knowing each other's dreams and knowing what you're helping or you're moving towards, Kathleen said, oh, Judy, you were talking about incarceration. That's something I have as a passion. And so you guys could connect. And I put this on the bottom and collaborate. I'm in this one community that is this really high energy community, and there's so much collaboration going on because it's not about competition, it's about collaboration. It's about everybody rising together and everybody helping everyone else. And it's fun to get to work with other people who are really high energy and really, really on focus, know where they're going. Have some hobbies. I realized at the beginning of last year, I hadn't done anything for me in a long time. So I went and signed up for a calligraphy class. Barbara knows my friend that was my teacher. And because I'd done that as a kid and I loved it. I started painting. I just went on YouTube, looked up, bought some supplies, went on YouTube, watched some and I've been watercolor painting. I love it. And it goes back to that, keep myself from making reactions, being creative. And it feels good. The last one is celebrate, which Barbara said. So many of us don't celebrate, and that is a foundation. Because guess what? We're pretty amazing people. And we have a lot of really good things that happen every single day. And I know for me, sometimes I forget to celebrate. And so it's even the celebration is some days like today, I celebrate that I woke up early so I didn't oversleep so I would miss this. You can have celebrations in big ways or little ways. Yesterday I was on a call with this woman and she just got the email from our organization saying she just got certified as a guide. And it was so interesting. I wasn't sure what she was going to say because her face was, she looked like she was about to cry. And I wasn't sure if it was going to be good news or bad news, but I was going to be there with her no matter what. And it was good news. And you know what? When she shared it, she was nervous because she realized, she goes, I know I'm just at the start. And I said, yeah, but you're not really at the start. You had to do all this other stuff to get to there. Because if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't be here. And she's like, oh, yeah. And I think sometimes we're like, but I have this long way to go. But you're here. You made the choice. So that's why I love that pods, the decide and then choose, or decide and then start. You're deciding and you're starting. You're getting done and you're protecting that dream. So, anyways, I am so glad that I had the time. I had one more thing, but I'm just going to let it go. So just, I hope that you guys can be, that you give up the do and you can be and enjoy the journey. Because I think so many times we're all about comparison and all this other stuff. There's so many different ways that we can serve in this world. And I know we all have big, huge hearts. Thank you, Rennie, for your time and everyone for your time.
Thank you so much, LaSchelle. That is so wonderful. A lot of information that really all of us can take in and practice. I'm very big on action. I think this idea of 80% input and 20% results, we are on this autopilot where our habits, we just do things. Even things that we have our dreams, things that you all mentioned today, like, are you every day, are you doing something that's moving toward your dreams? And like I said, because we're on autopilot, we're comfortable. And to have that discomfort, like with me with this calling thing, there's 45 people. I mean, in 5 months, whatever it is, really, it's only 3 a week. But because it's not comfortable, sometimes it's hard to get out of our comfort zone because we're safe and we just like do our other things that is like not needle moving kind of action that we do all the time. That way we don't have to do that thing that we're afraid of. So with that, all of you, thank you so much for being here. Is there any last minute thing that anyone want to say? Um, if not, LaSchelle, is there any, oh, Barbara want to say something. Go ahead, Barbara, unmute yourself.
Just really quickly, everything you said was so meaningful, LaSchelle, and beautiful. And the thread that kind of ran through it was the be, not do, was the idea of pause. In the old days, we would call it stop and smell the roses. It is, unfortunately, we've created a society where everything is fast. It's noisy. It's how quick can you do something and how much can you get done? So it really takes a lot of self-discipline to get into the mindset that you described. But it's such a healthy mindset. And who knows, maybe if enough of us did this, we would change world perception. So we would start valuing the be instead of the do, the pause instead of the frenzy. So much good stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. Kathleen.
Just a couple quick things. I did want to mention that the man who was in prison who felt he had made a mistake, he didn't make a mistake. God didn't make a mistake. That was his journey to go there, to be there. That was part of his journey to be there so that he could help those other people. And also, comment, I said something in the chat on the Hal Elrod book. I had brought this up in the past to the group before. It really is. I highly recommend that book, The Morning Miracle. It really is life changing. I actually met him and stay in touch with him, and yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, I think all of these, everything, LaSchelle, you said was just amazing. Omeka, we are
Yeah,
8:01
it's just
here. So if
half a
anybody needs
sentence.
to leave, feel free to do so. Go ahead, Omeka.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to thank y'all for the pause. I was drinking out of a cup that says stop dreaming and start doing. And when I bought it, I was like, that ain't quite right, but I bought it anyway. And the pause and the being in the now and still dreaming and still doing. But like, yeah, there needs to be another little sentence in there. But I thank you for the reminders and for the tips. Appreciate y'all.
Just to
Thank you.
chime in on that, Omeka, the thing is that I struggle with is instead of being a dreamer, be a dream maker. And so that may be where your mug needs to cross out something, just don't stop dreaming, but just instead of being a dreamer, sitting there going, la, 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 actually take that, take Rini's action, take action, just be a dream maker. Change your mug to
Exactly.
dream maker.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Judy. That's a great ending to our session here. LaSchelle, this has been an amazing session. And I think if all of us could just create that awareness, consciousness to see where we are, instead of just going on autopilot on a daily basis, I think we'll go somewhere. Enjoy your journey in the meantime. Thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next week. So have a great day, have a great week, have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks. That was
Bye.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, LaSchelle.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you, LaSchelle.
Suzanne.
Bye-bye.